Phil again, and I'm back at it. So we are just gonna power through and try to finish lesson 6. So yeah, let's get going. So here we have a Slack card quiz. Slack is a popular chat platform. A Slack channel usually shows a list of names and their messages. If you click on someone's name, you can see a card pop up that looks something like this. Cameron Pittman's profile.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Dad.
You guys want to be in my video? Okay. Let me finish up, okay? And then,
Daddy, finish up.
yeah. Right. Just say hi. Just say hi to the video.
Hi.
Just say hi.
Hey.
They can't see you, Daniel. You got to go close to... There's the camera right there.
Where?
There. Okay. Oh, okay, that's that. People can't see me, okay? They want to see me. Close the door, please. Okay, so Cameron's profile card looks great, but this one does not. For this quiz, you'll be using developer tools to make this website. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, it's a GitHub. Okay. To make this website look more like a Slack profile card, note the buttons at the bottom of the page have the class profile action. You'll need to do some research for this quiz. There are at least 2 new CSS properties that you'll need to look up. Okay. How to complete this quiz: open the website in Chrome, turn on the Udacity feedback extension, use developer tools to pass all the tests, copy and paste the code that appears. Okay, all right, so this is definitely a new, okay, so, I see. All right, so we need to use developer tools to, I take it that, let's see, okay, allow feedback on this domain. Okay, the Slack button, okay, all right, so, let's see. Okay, it looks like they're not allowing us to download the HTML, but maybe we save this HTML file. Let's see. Okay, save link as. We're gonna save it here. Okay. We'll just call this, I think it's 6.7. Am I right? Yeah, 6.7. We'll move that in there. Okay. All right, so here's the doc, or sorry, the HTML file. Let's see if, I'm just gonna save this and open it in the browser. So set up our environment, so to speak. Okay, close that file. Open file. 6.7. There it is. Okay, so we can refresh. Okay, so what do we need to do here? Let's see, there's no instructions here. All right, let's let me read this. Let me read the instructions again. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see, Udacity. Sorry about this, guys. Taking a long time. Let's see. We're not in the right section. Click home. Grow with Google. Okay, and we are in the CSS syntax. Okay, cool. We're 70% of the way. Okay, so it's got to look like this. Camera's profile card, but this one does not. This one, okay. For this quiz, you'll be using developer tools to make this website. You'll be using developer tools. Note that okay. So does that mean we're just gonna go view source or inspect? Okay, let's see. This website. Okay, pass all the tools. Okay, so it looks like we need to style. We need to style the no, we need to style the this. So yeah, definitely open developer tools, and let's see, elements, style. So I think here we could do edit as HTML. Okay, so this applies to everything. This is the body. This is the card right here. Okay. Dot card and then dot top and then dot name. Okay, dot status. Dot title. Okay, so these are all the classes. Dot time. Dot bottom. Dot profile action. Okay. All right. So again, need some clarity. A Slack channel usually shows a list of names and their messages. If you click someone's name, you'll see a card pop up that looks something like this. Camera's profile looks great, but this one does not. For this quiz, you'll be using developer tools to make this website look more like a Slack profile card. Okay, note the buttons at the bottom of the page have the class profile action. You'll need to do some research for this quiz. There are at least 2 new CSS properties that you need to look up. Okay. So I'm going to do some research and I'll be right back and then I'll just point out what I find, okay? All right, see you guys in a little bit. Doing Google Scholar peeps. It's been a long night and a long morning. And hey, Brandon, that's my son, Brandon. He's 7. It's been a long night and it's been a long morning. Trying to figure out the Slack card challenge, and yeah, we'll just get right at it. I'll point out some of the difficulties and some of the path that I took that took me to the wrong solution. But yeah, here we go. So the one of the things about this quiz is that you are asked to use developer tools to solve the problem. So you can't download the HTML and then load it into your text editor because the grader checks to see what URL you're pulling from. So if you're trying to work on it locally, the grader will not work. So I just wanted to put that, right front and center. So what we're going to do is we're going to, open this web page. It's a GitHub link, and you are supposed to work on it right here, okay? And then here are the tests that it's looking for. So I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to make this look like this, but really there's no instructions. So technically, if you do all these feedback items, then you will be on the right path. So so let's get started. So that's the first thing. Okay, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the design, But since this is not an interactive image, it's really hard. So just go by the grader here, okay? So the first thing we're going to tackle is this buttons. The buttons have 4 pix rounded borders. So that's these right here, okay? These are buttons in a sense that they're clickable. They're not necessarily the old school HTML button that you see like a submit or you know, like in Google, this I guess these are buttons as well, but they're not your old school submit buttons. So that was one of the things that sort of took me a long time to figure out. Maybe you'll have better luck. So let's get started. So here you have to use DevTools. Again, the best thing to do is to just right click and inspect the page. And what helped me also is trying to format this so that the feedback does not get in the way. Just right about right there, okay? So the buttons have 4 pix rounded corners. So we'll have to find where these elements are. And, you know, as you know, developer tools, when you go line by line, it'll highlight on the left, or it'll enclose it in a box. So, okay, so that's encapsulated in a section. Further down, there's a div right here. So it's going to be in here. So top, middle, bottom. Again, it's encapsulated here, so it's at the bottom. And then, as you can see, it's the div class bottom. Okay, so so what you want to do then is style these buttons. So I'm going to go into the style sheet, and I'm going to search for bottom. But what I've learned is these are actually they're in the they're styled in the bottom. So if you right click here and then edit as HTML, okay, you can go to the bottom and then here border radius. Oh, okay. So it's actually this guy right here. He's the profile action. Okay, it's not bottom because technically bottom just shows you this section. Really, what you're doing here is it's what happens when you go to the profile action. So so let's put a border radius here. Border radius 4 pix. Okay, and then once you switch to the to those HTML, you can see it checks it for you. You don't have to refresh. Hitting refresh will delete all your work, all the changes you made. As you know, I think it was explained in the class. I learned that the hard way. When you hit refresh, it will delete their changes. Okay, so as you can see, now these have rounded corners. Again, searching for, so the buttons have class profile action. This is actually already the hint right here, okay? So that takes care of this. The buttons have a hand mouse cursor, and if you remember from the last video, when we styled that image, we could change the buttons to have a mouse property or value. Right now they're just in the pointer, which is the default. So we're going to search for this profile hover. Okay, that's where you make the change. Okay, sometimes you have to click out of the style sheet to be able to edit it. Okay, so that click out and then right click, edit as HTML. Okay, so we're looking, so here we're going to do cursor, colon, and then, so property and then value. So we said that we're going to make this a button, I think. No? All right. Time to research. I forgot already. Cursor property, CSS. And
Mom, paper airplane. Fly.
auto scroll, resize, pointer. So I believe pointer is the, so alias, auto, context,
Okay.
copy, default.
Mom, paper airplane.
So default, okay, default.
Fly.
It's not grab. Huh, sorry, I think maybe it does need to be pointer then. What does it say on the hand? Okay. HTML or CSS cursor hand. How can I make, okay. Okay, so it is pointer then. So we do need to change that in here. Okay, again, when you click out, you have to click back in and edit as HTML. And we're looking for the profile action hover, so cursor pointer. Okay. Nope, that did not do it.
What happened?
Maybe I spelled it wrong. Pointer. No, that's right. So cursor pointer. Sometimes it's the spaces. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, search for, okay, cursor pointer. I'm going to move it up to the action. Okay. Okay, so it needed to be here. Okay. All right, so next up is the font of the buttons must match the rest of the page. The fonts of the buttons, again, this is, I think, in here in profile action. We need to add, so the body, okay, so it actually, the font of the buttons match the rest of the page. So I think what I've tried, and I've already, good morning, Daniel.
Yeah.
I think I've already, I think I already matched, I've already figured this out, but kind of where to put things is sort of, I guess I'd forgotten. Sorry, guys. But here, I think if you just make, so okay, so this is the font for the rest of the page. So if we move that up to select everything, yeah, this star right here. Okay, I got that one. This star right here, meaning it almost like it's the default. It'll star in programming or in a lot of programming, even in like scripting, it represents like everything. So like in SQL, like, you know, anyway, don't want to go on a tangent right there. So okay, I'm gonna nail this down. The typo mistake in the card name is fixed. This actually is what led me to the wrong path. So as you see, this is Udacity student. Okay, so we just needed to make the student. So I don't know if this is an intentional trick or they're trying to trick you, but what this will have you do is edit the actual HTML content, okay, because that's where it is. So again, you got to go and search for it here. So it's in top, middle. Okay, so it's actually in the top, okay, because name. Okay, see Udacity student. So we're just going to edit this. I think you just do edit text. You could do student. Okay, that checks it. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this led me to the wrong path is because now I have to deal with this profile. You know, the top has a profile placeholder. Okay. All right. So what I ended up doing and what I spent a lot of time, I'll do it here, and this is really what threw me off. So I went in here, and the first thing I did, okay, so I went to the div class, and I was like, oh, so where do I need to place the image? Well, it looks like the name is right here, and I need to put it on top. So what I did is I added, you know, I knew it needed to be above the student, so I did like, you know, an image here. And you know, it's called I've sort of memorized what the file name is. Profile placeholder. It should be profile photo placeholder, but it's the same. Okay, so this really sent me into the wrong path and I'm pretty sure Udacity, the authors, have made this intentional. But I was like, why is this placing it here? I've tried to style it. I've tried to put like padding and everything. And, you know, I want to say I probably spent like a couple hours doing that. If you're watching this video, it's likely that you're stuck. You know, really, they've given us a hint here where, you know, there are at least 2 new CSS properties to look up. And so what I ended up doing was, you know, I even looked up, you know, I did this one exercise. I think I just did CSS cards, because I guess these is pretty common. So I even made this and, you know, try to run it through Sublime Text, and I'm like, how did they, you know, why is this work, you know, just normal HTML? I mean, they're not doing fancy here. And so, you know, I guess that's the whole point of this, you know, but what it ended up being, what I found was that the image needed to be a background image, and it needed to be a background image of top. Okay, and I'll show you that now. So basically, the syntax. So I'm gonna remove this. Okay, delete this element. Okay, so we're back. Okay. Oh. Wait, did I mess it up? Does that normally look like that? Can you undo? Okay. I'm glad you can undo. So I'm just gonna go edit as HTML, and I'm just gonna delete this. Oh, you know, I ended up deleting the H3, so I'm just gonna delete this. Okay, that should bring it back to normal. Oh no, that looks horrible. Yeah, because that's normally at the bottom. Okay, I messed something up here. Let's see if I could undo. If I could undo. Can you do undo? Okay, there you go. All right, so that's where I'm at. So, so really, what I really needed to do here, and the way I found it. So again, finding which element it needed to be. So I knew that it needed to be on the top. Okay. Because I've also put it in other places, and that did not work out. And I could show you. Let's see. So I think first I put it in the body. So let's just see what that looks like. Did a lot of
Okay,
experimentation to get it right. And you guys get the benefit of you know, the shortcut. So okay, so it's background image dash image, and then you have to go. Let me just, I think it's URL. I think it's URL equal. Oh no, it's URL colon and then profile placeholder dot svg. I think that, okay, so I did that. That obviously did not work. So it's a matter of finding where the elements are, because right now we put it in the body, and you know the body is obviously that whole section right here. No, not even. The body is, where's the HTML?
Oh, there you are. Squares.
Yeah, I guess that's the whole body. So it, you know, it tiles it. That's what it's doing. So that's obviously wrong. It doesn't belong there. And what you can see is, so this is the entire card. Okay, you see it. It spans from left to right in that orange box. Top is really where it belongs. Okay, because as you can see, it highlights it perfectly. Okay, so that's where it needs to go. So I'm gonna go back to the style. I'm gonna edit this, and I'm gonna just pull this background image, okay, and then put it in top.
Yeah, what? So high. I'm so high.
Okay, sorry, spacing ADD here. Okay, all right. As you can see, it checks out, and I got the code right here. So yeah, pretty challenging exercise there. Hopefully you guys, you guys gotten some value out of this. All right, see you guys in Slack.